Hello YouTube viewers, how you doing today? This is the Electron Man. I just wanted to take a second at the intro of this video to ask you to subscribe to my channel if you can, please. Um, I have one channel or one video that has over 200,000 views, and if I'd had 10% of those people subscribe, I wouldn't have to be on here now. But ever since YouTube created the new rules to where you have to have 1,000 subscribers and a certain amount of hours to be monetized, I have not been making any income, which kind of took my motivation away. And all I'm asking is, if you enjoy my content and you watch my videos, just take a second to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and I mean, I'd really like to get 1,000 subscribers and start creating a lot more content. I was really on the roll there for a while, but like I said, after the new rules, it kind of demotivated me, and hopefully you guys can pitch in and get me back to where I'm in that 1,000 subscribers or more, and I'll start creating more and more content. Anyway, have a good day, and please subscribe. That's all I'm asking. Hello YouTubers. Well, I got a little project I think I'm going to play with. I've got this little bitty Coca-Cola AC/DC ice chest that well, it was designed really cheap, and it never really kept the drinks real cold. But anyway, it ended up going out on me, and I got to thinking, hey, I got that Peltier cooler that I bought just to play with, and I thought, hey, you know what? I wonder if I can modify it and make this a really good little ice box. So the project will begin. I'm going to take the old components out of it and see if I can actually fit in my my new Peltier cooler and actually make this thing a real refrigerator. Well, here's the old junk out of the old Peltier cooler. Basically, this is what they were using for cooling it. It's kind of an interesting design. Then it's got a little heat thing here to because this was actually this little cooler here, I guess, is actually a heater, warmer or a cooler. But anyway, wasn't a whole lot to it. I did some troubleshooting on it, and it was the little 12-volt power supply they had in it that had given up the ghost. And well, we're gonna super modify this. The fan was also defective, and that might have been what caused the unit to go out in the first place, or at least the power supply. But I mean, it's actually the Peltier is still good, but we're gonna see if we can't put my new one in there. My plan is to use this cooler. I don't know if you remember this project. Hold on a second, let me get that out here and I'll show you. Okay, here's the one that I actually built. If you go look back at my videos, I actually have a little video on me building this. But this is the Peltier cooler that I built. And I was thinking about putting in an ice chest, etc. But I really think this little Coca-Cola box is going to be perfect for it. And I'm going to have some really nice cold drinks when I'm done with it. But anyway, the neat thing about this is I also bought this thermal relay thermometer with a cutoff, so that you can actually set the temperature to turn off the power on and off as you want. So it's basically going to have a thermostat to regulate the cooling of the little refrigerator. Now it's just a matter of I can fit this unit in where the old unit was. I'm going to take a look at it and see what we can come up with. Well, after I truly completely gutted all the older electronics out of the back of this little refrigerator unit, basically before, I've already cut this hole. I should have put that on video, but it was just simply there's a little thin piece of metal here, and basically the way they had it working before is the Peltier cooler was just inducting on that metal, and that is how it was putting any cooling into the refrigerator. It's no wonder that it never did much of a job for cooling, considering there was no airflow in there, and basically it was just inductive cooling on that one little square right there. Well, I got to measuring it, and after a little cutting a hole, I've realized that if you take a look at this, I've actually managed to make it. Let's see if I can get a good video of that. This right here, which is the cooling side, is going to fit right in that square hole. It's kind of almost made for it. I'm going to go ahead and mount that in there like that, and then I'll just have to find a. I think I did it before. It's like 2.5 amps, 2.1 amps that it takes to to run this little Peltier cooler. I need to get online and see what I can find as far as a little 12-volt power supply that'll fit in there. Of course, the technology of video, hopefully next time I come on here, I will have this mounted and have a solution for the power supply. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and get this mounted in here. Basically, my intention is, since it fits really nice and snug in there, in fact, it's like perfect. It's amazing that it fits that good. It's almost like it's made for it. I think I'm just going to run a bead of silicone around it and seal it that way. That seems to make the most sense. So let me go ahead and get this thing mounted. I'm going to go ahead and seat this in here. Now, as you can see, basically I just laid a really nice layer of 100% silicone around there, and now I will just drop in this unit, and you can tell it actually seats right down in there. Kind of squeeze it and get the silicone to ooze out the sides here, and we'll let that settle. As you can see, it definitely did a nice job of sealing it all the way around. So we'll just let that silicone set up, and then we'll move on to the next fun step, and that'll be installing a power supply and wiring it all up, seeing what we end up with in the end. Well, I now have my Peltier cooler mounted. It turned out really good. It's mounted solid. I would turn it over, but I'm still working on this side now. I'm just going to get a little power supply and do the wiring, and we're about halfway done with this already. I'd be anxious to see how this thermostatic control little refrigerator works when I'm done. Okay, here's what it ended up looking like on the inside. As you can see, I just notched out the fan. There's not any escaping air around it, so it should be fine just like that. I didn't want it sticking out too far because that'll impede my drawer going in. And as you can see right down here, I just laid a little silicone down there, and that's where my thermal probe is going to go. You can move that around depending on where you want the ice box. I'm hoping it'll be pretty consistent inside of it, but I figured I'd put it at the top heat riser, so it'll be a little warm at the top. So I figure once it gets cold enough at the top, then the bottom should be cold as well. So it's kind of my thought on that anyway, but I'm sure you could probably put that probe out anywhere you want, and it'd be pretty accurate. But anyway, I just put a little glob of silicone on the back there and just glued it down there. So now we'll get ready to, I've got my power supply ordered. As soon as it comes in, I'll show you it, and we'll get to wiring the rest of it up. Well, guess what? We got her all installed with the power supply now. I guess I could have recorded more of this, but basically you can see my little power supply I bought here. I actually found it off of Amazon. If y'all people are interested, I'll actually give you all the parts numbers for all this stuff, the Peltier cooler as well as the power supply. But it's a little 5-amp power supply, and as you can see, it fit beautifully in the back of this little refrigerator. It's almost like this little unit was made for it. But of course I did some measurements before I ordered it, made sure to order the size that I knew that would fit. And like I said, it really only draws about a little over 2 amps. So I'm way over built on the power supply, but better to have a 5-watt drawing 2 watts than a 3-watt drawing 2 and being at the 80% cycle. As you can see, I've got it all wired up. Really, the wiring was really pretty simple. I got pretty fancy here. I'm actually still using the AC plug that came originally with the little mini refrigerator, and I'm going to go ahead and mount the DC plug back in and wire it back in too, because I can actually make this to where it will continue to work just like it did from the factory with AC and DC. All I have to do on the DC side, wire it to the 12-volt side. I mean, this is what this is converting anyway, so that's a real simple addition, so that this is still you can use it on AC or DC. Like I said, I got the fan. It's all, it's all mounted and set up now. And check out how I found a little spot on the side where the AC plug was to mount my little thermostat control for this little unit. I'm really proud of this. It turned out really good. It just happened to be that I had a spot there that just, it was almost like, again, it was made for it. As you can see, you know, I don't know if you really want to get into details wiring this. It's just kind of more of a cool little conversion I did with it and the parts listing. I mean, I could get real detailed, but it really wasn't that hard. I mean, you know, the little thermostat control as well on Amazon, I think they were like, I think I bought 2 for like $8, but basically the way it works is it's got, you know, input and then a switched output depending on the you know, the temperature, and then of course the 3 buttons set, you know, your highs and lows, and you can set it either way. You can set it to come on at a certain temperature and go off when it goes higher, or you can set it to come on and then go off when it goes lower. Obviously on this it's going to be lower. I think I'm going to set it for about probably about, oh, I don't know, 15, 16 Celsius, maybe something like that. I mean, a nice cold drink's about 50 degrees, and that would be right around 50 degrees. So, you know, and also, you know, I might even do another video later of the efficiency of this, but I mean, I got to thinking, I know this is really going to be efficient because, of course, first I know we're only pulling 2 amps, and let me go ahead and plug this in, and I'll kind of let you see how it operates here in a second. But this is going to be really low or high efficiency because we're talking, what, 2 amps, so, you know, 200 watts to run this little fridge. And you know, I'll have to do some duty cycle on it. I mean, obviously before it wasn't really that efficient because the way that their Peltier worked was it was just cooling all the time. Well, with my new little setup, it'll actually turn off and on depending on the temperature I set. Obviously, the colder I set it, the longer that, you know, the 200 watts would have to run. But the good thing is you know, once the items get cold and saturated in there, it's only going to maintain that temperature, so it'll actually be turning off that 200 watts. I don't know what the duty cycle is going to be. You know, I don't know how long it'll take for it to cool 6, you know, cans of soda or beer or whatever you want to put in there. But those could all be figured out and get a duty cycle on it. But guaranteed it's going to be more efficient than it was before, and I can guarantee it's going to cool a whole lot better. I've got, you know, a whole lot more cooling capability with my Peltier. I did have to modify the shelf a little bit just to because of the way I mounted it in the back. It protrudes just slightly, so I just cut that little back shelf, but it doesn't have any effect on the shelf going in and out, as well as it will hold 2 soda pops, which I don't have another soda pop to put in here. Another can, no. But anyway, you know, it holds 2 here and 4 down here, and I already checked, and it holds 6 cans just like it's supposed to. Doesn't get in the way. So there's the inside. I need to clean it now that I've got it all fixed up, but that's what the inside of the unit looks like. And then let's go ahead and let's go and power it up, see if I can get one hand here and go ahead and plug it in. And there she goes. She just came on. And as you can see, well, it'll start dropping temperature automatically as soon as the Peltier starts warming. But basically what you have inside here, and as you can see up top there's where I got my thermal probe. Like I said, I figure heat rises, so you want it probably towards the top of the refrigerator because it's going to be actually colder down at the bottom, so you want your temperature to be most accurate. It's probably 1 or 2 degrees difference between top and bottom, honestly. But anyway, as you can see, there's where the thermal probe goes for this little thermostat here. I'm going to shut the door here. And as you can see, it's starting to register the temperature on the inside. Now that I got the door shut, it will slowly but surely drop. Like I said, I'm not sure exactly. I need to set it. I think it's set at 10 Celsius right now for a cutoff, but I'll probably set it, like I said, for about 15. Well, not 15, probably 15. This was running actually before I set in there, so it's kind of cool in there right now. But like I said, between maybe 12, somewhere in the 50-degree range. Basically, that's for a nice cold pop. That's about what your refrigerator keeps things at too, between 40 and 50. When we look on the back here, you can see, of course, there's the power supply lines working. This is actually a neat little power supply. You can actually adjust the voltage, but coming out of the box, it was right at 12.5 volts, so I was just going to leave it alone. But as you can see, like I was talking about my wiring before, I mean, basically, you just have your hots coming from your power supply going into the thermal switch and then coming out and going into the Peltier, controlling it. Of course, the AC side goes to the AC side, and then it's just got screw-down terminals here. And like I said, there's really nothing real complicated about it. You got you know, plus and minus 12 volts goes through the switch, goes to the Peltier switch, thermal switch turns on and off depending on temperature. Power supply has AC 110 going into to pins 1 and 2 on the terminal strip, and that's pretty much it. I mean, that's how the whole design's working here. Now, it's kind of neat how I got it all to fit in. You almost think that this is a kit, and I bought these parts to specifically fit in it, but they didn't. I just kind of managed to get them in there, and there's how the back will fit on it. I'll go ahead and screw the back down. Once I get the back down, it will look, you pretty much stock. You won't be able to tell that any different than it did whenever it was this way. Won't even be able to tell other than the LED with the digital display on the side that this is anything but a stock little mini Coke refrigerator. Okay, here is one last view of my new high efficiency mini refrigerator. As you can see, I now have the little 5 amp 12 volt DC converter installed. Of course, I've got Peltier unit installed. I've also got all my wiring cleaned up and nice and neat and tucked in. The only place I couldn't make it perfect, I would have liked to have it all internal, but unfortunately on my little micro or my thermostat controller, you notice that relay sticks out. It doesn't set flat. I would have liked to just mount it and cut a little square hole and just had nothing but the buttons and the display, but just due to the way the circuit board's made, I'd have had to stand off way back, and then you wouldn't have been able to see the digits clearly. This actually makes it really uncomplicated. So basically there's my thermostat controller. Of course, you've already seen the inside. There she's all cleaned up, and basically now all I got to do, I did notch it a little bit right here just so that I don't pinch those wires when I put the top back on it. And I'll just take the top here, so I can do this one-handed. And look at that, it just sets right on there like a glove. And I'll put my screws in, and we'll take one final look at it after I've got it all screwed back together and plugged in. Okay, folks, well, this is the finishing up of it. My ultra high efficiency refrigerator is now completed. As you can see, I've got the back all screwed on. Looking at it, you wouldn't know that it wasn't stock, other than, like I said, the little digital display. As you can see, I have 12 volt hookup and AC hookup, which I have a cigarette lighter adapter I can plug in, or I can plug in my AC cord, which I'm going to do now. As you can see, I just plugged it in and it started right up. And let's just see what we're doing as far as, I don't know if you can see this or not. Let's see here. Now we're actually pulling 66.3 watts, and that is at full cooling. It's at complete heat now, so it's in full cooling cycle. So it pulls at 65, 66 watts. So about the same as a 60 watt light bulb. That's pretty efficient. And like I said, with the thermostat control I have on it now, it'll actually turn off and on. So it's at 60 watts basically full cycle, but this won't be at full cycle. Once it cools the contents, it will turn on and off. So like I said, I don't know if there's a lot of interest in this thing. I'll go back and I'll actually do some calculation. I'll put 6 warm cans in there and see how long it takes it to get it down to, say, 55 degrees, and then what the duty cycle is to keep it at 55 degrees. But anyway, this little project's done. I'm gonna put my drink of choice in there now and enjoy a cold one. And if you really liked it and want to see more content like this, please subscribe. This is Electron Man. Have a good day.